Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Pink Floyd Completion Project. From here on out, it's just pretty much it's just David Gilmour and Roger Waters solo albums. Today we are looking at David Gilmour's Rattle That Lock from 2015. This is the last one of this series that I physically own. And of course I used this to listen to the album today. This album is fucking awesome. Right? It's beautiful. I did still have to take notes because I haven't listened to it as frequently as some others that I've had to look at in this series. But the album starts off with 5 a.m. It's another mellow David Gilmour opener. It's no lyrics. It's just him doing his guitar licks. Like that's, and there's nothing wrong with that. Most David Gilmour openers are pretty cool. This is pretty much the way he's opened every album since Momentary Lapse of Reason. Song number 2, Rattle That Lock, the title track. This was the first song from this album that I heard, as it was the single. I was actually, around and sentient for this album's release. My brother was more excited at the time than I was, but we both got excited for his recent one, but we'll look at that next week. But yeah, Rattle That Lock, it's got a nice toe-tapping beat, and you can tell, like, when Dave comes in with the lyrics, I think he was 70 at this point, 69, 70, somewhere in there. But, like, he was getting old, but he could still sing, it samples, like, there's some French train station tone. It goes, do-do-do-do-do, and that's sampled. And, of course, Dave hasn't lost any of his fire. The guitar solo on this is great, but it's not the best on the album, far from it, but it's still pretty fucking good, because it's David Gilmour. Song number 3, Faces of Stone. It's a weird, like, carnival love song, but it's got 2 jizz-worthy guitar solos on it. Like, it's really fucking cool. Like, it's just like, okay, what the hell is any of this? And then out of nowhere, it just smacks you in the face with 2 really good solos. Yeah. And then song number 4, A Boat Lies Waiting. It's a lovely piano ballad tribute to Rick Wright. Crosby and Nash return for harmonies. I almost feel like, because Dave was working on both this and The Endless River at around the same time, I'm pretty sure. I almost feel like this should have been put at the end of The Endless River. And then Louder Than Words could have been put onto this, but lyrically, Louder Than Words I guess fits better on The Endless River. I don't know. Like, there's a debate that could be had on that. If you want to know my thoughts on The Endless River, I literally just finished uploading the morning that I'm recording this. I will link it in the description down below. But yeah, it's a beautiful song. It truly is. Dancing Right in Front of Me. I forgot this one existed. I really forgot this one existed, in all honesty. It's weird. Like, it's like a weird combination of Faces of Stone and Rattle That Lock. Like, I don't really like this is the worst one on the album. It is. It's not bad. It's just the worst one on the album. It's the one I connect with the least. And the solo is lackluster. So, like, I feel like this was here where Dave was just like, oh fuck, I've got to get 10 tracks on it. Shit. Like, that's kind of what this feels like. And then song number 6, In Any Tongue. Oh yeah. Like, I actually got the opportunity to see him perform this at Madison Square Garden. Not at the time, but this past tour he did. and it was amazing, right? But we're going to talk about that version when we get there. But yeah, In Any Tongue, it's an anti-war song. It's largely made up of piano, drums, and bass. It oddly covers thematically, with the anti-war thing. It weirdly covers similar ground to Amused to Death, because it has a line talking about how his God was blinding him in terms of war, and there's that beautiful "How was I to see straight when a gun was in my hand?" And it's beautiful. And I at the time, it was talking about the various wars in the Middle East that had been going on for over a decade at that point, right? It was so it's understandable why he would protest it. Right? And it doesn't really say anything specific other than, why the fuck are we doing this? What are we gaining from this? Right? That's kind of how it feels. It's got a jizz-worthy and transcendent guitar solo. This one is genuinely up there with Sorrow, Money, and Comfortably Numb. This is genuinely one of his best solos of his career. It's so fucking good, dude. The only other solo, I just listed, apart from Money, the only other solos I would consider I would use the word transcendent on, where I listen to them and I transcend, is fucking Comfortably Numb and Sorrow. It's so good, dude. Beauty, it's got some guitar and piano interplay. I don't know if any of this is Rick. I don't think it is. Rick has there's a vocal sample of Rick. Sorry about the noise. My neighbor is getting his oil tank refilled. Sorry about that. But yeah, there is just a beautiful, there's a vocal sample of Rick on A Boat Lies Waiting. But I think that's the only time he really does appear on the album. The energy kicks in the middle with drums, and it feels like it's trying to fuse Maroon's instrumentation with One of These Days' energy, and it weirdly works. It weirdly works pretty damn good. Yeah. The Girl in the Yellow Dress, it's a jazzy lounge song about young love with a nice sax solo. It's there. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just there. And then Today, it opens with Dave and his wife Polly singing a poem, and then the song explodes into a funky jam, and it's one of my favorite on the album, and it's got another brick in the wall, Young Lust type solo. It's very disco in energy. And then the final song, number 10, And Then, it's essentially 5 a.m. Part 2. And it's very much a buy for now. Go buy it. Go buy it. It's fucking great. Go buy it. David Gilmour would take this album on tour in 2015 and 2016. It was his last big tour, and we will talk about the best performance from that tour. David Gilmour in 2016 made his return to Pompeii, and this time he performed in front of an audience. And we will talk about that next time. Thank you all very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it. If you have something to add, please do so in the comment section down below. If you want to hear me talk about something other than music, I have a podcast with two of my buddies. It's called Dorkies. I will link the most recent episode of that in the description below. And if you want to hear what I happen to be listening to that day, or a 15-second segment at least, you can follow me on Instagram at Sean_Heaster1979. I post a 15-second segment of a song there on my story every single day. And with that, I would like to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one, which will be David Gilmour, live in Pompeii.